Could Dream SMP countries exist in real life? It's an interesting question. Dream SMP countries are sometimes strange and created for strange reasons, like drugs. So in this series, we're gonna answer this question, so let's go. Also, spoilers by the way. In the previous video we finished the greater Dream SMP and Lemanberg analysis, but Lemanberg got destroyed, and after its destruction, a whole lot of new countries arose. So today we're gonna be talking about countries that became important to the lore or created after Lemanberg's destruction, and the first one is Eggpire. A country which is ruled by a giant red egg that is controlling its members' minds and growing vines all around. Do I need to add anything? Well, actually yes. The only reason for that being that the egg's mind controlling kind of works like propaganda. Well-made propaganda can make people believe that everything is ideal, even though the leader is an egg and it's ugly and bloodthirsty. Quality propaganda is a cornerstone of dictatorship. But red egg dictator still doesn't exist in real life, so Eggpire is still impossible. Next up is Snowchester. Snowchester is the powerful player on the modern Dream SMP political arena. It has the most developed military on the SMP because it has nukes. Snowchester is also a big, developing country with a lot of wealth, citizens, and land on possession. I mean, it has 2 towns. What a great place! There's a downside called lack of democracy. And I mean, Snowchester is a country where presidents don't hold elections, where leader's family lives in a mansion that is bigger than every other house in the country together, and where president's husband is not even a citizen of the country. Yeah, not so great now. For the real life comparison, Snowchester reminded me of the modern day Russia. It also has a lot of nukes, also a republic that doesn't hold elections. Elections in Russia exist, but the result is always the same. And also has leaders, president and the cabinet, that have slightly more money than the rest of the people. This all fits too well, so we can say that Snowchester can exist in real life. The Syndicate. It's not a country. Just not. But Masons do exist. So the syndicate can exist, but as a secret organization, not as a country. Especially because it's an anarchist syndicate. Kinoku Kingdom. Next up is Kinoku Kingdom. Even though it's named Kingdom, it's still technically a republic. Kinoku Kingdom is the most peaceful place in the whole SMP. The only rules of the country are no wars and no breaking flowers. No breaking flowers, please. Never. Kingdom is so peaceful that country's high judge is a guest member. Dsmp. At first I thought Kinoku Kingdom is an utopia and too peaceful to be real, but then I remembered San Marino, which has its biggest war conflict in 1543, going like this. Nephew of the Pope wanted to take over San Marino. His army came to San Marino and tried to find the way up to the mountain, to the capital. They didn't find it, go away. Also there's only one prisoner in San Marino. Then I remembered Liechtenstein, which doesn't have army after 1939. That year the last soldier died at age 90, and where once a year you can drink tea and have a chat with country's ruler, as its celebration of independence. With that we can say that Kinoku Kingdom can exist, especially as a small mountain country in Europe. But it's a big country in Asian style. Las Nevadas. Next country we're gonna be talking about is Las Nevadas. This country's economy is based around casinos and gambling. I don't even know what to add here, besides that country's leader is manipulating most of its citizens. And in real life we have Macau, which is a city-state, just like Hong Kong, that has an economy heavily based on casinos and gambling, 76% of the whole economy. And all of these casinos making 7 times more money than Las Vegas casinos. The only thing that is different between the economy of Macau and the economy of Las Nevadas is the country's name. So yeah, Las Nevadas can exist. Lysenburg. Last but not least we have Lysenburg. This country is strange for 2 reasons. First, it exists in the future. Second, the economy of the country is based on tolls. And I can't find any country that bases its economy on tolls. Yes, there is countries that bases their economy on trading without producing anything. The example is Hanseatic League, which was an influential medieval commercial and defensive confederation of merchant guilds and market towns in Central and Northern Europe. It has some territories, it only traded stuff without producing anything. But Lysenburg, on the other hand, don't buy or sell anything. It just sits on the road and asking for tolls. And when they sold their toll gate, it lost its main source of making money and became just a chunk of land with a tower on it. That means that Lysenburg can't exist. So this is not the end of part 2 of this series. Lore on the SMP is fast, so while I was making part 1, 2 new countries were created, the first one being Beetroot Empire. Half country, half organization that consists of giant beetroot fields in the center of the server. Everyone in the empire are working on the fields, and country's economy is all based on beetroots. And while yes, there are a lot of countries that base their economy on agriculture, there are no countries that only plant just one type of crop and not allowed to plant other types. And even if this somehow happened, it would be a dumb thing to do, because if something happened to, for example, beetroots, there would be no potatoes for people to eat. This exact issue led to the Great Ireland Famine in 1847, because Ireland's main source of food were potatoes, and when there were no potatoes, there were no food to replace it. That means that Beetroot Empire can't exist in real life. Next up is Paradise. Now, the real last country we're gonna be talking about today is Paradise. Paradise is a country created by Wilbur Soot to stop the food monopoly of Las Nevadas. It's a real thing for a country to base their economy on tourism. Las Nevadas is an example. But basing economy on other countries' tourists is not a real thing. So for now, Paradise can't exist as a real life country, but it can change as it was created not so long ago. Maybe they will make things to attract their own tourists. So this is the end of part 2 of the series. Leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.